y'all, it's Vaneezy. Welcome to my home kitchen. Today is a wet, gloomy, and muggy day out here in the city. So why not turn on our oven, bring out the butter, and make some delicious sausage biscuits. Now the reason why I love sausage biscuits is I personally think that they're a huge thing in Texas. You know, I'm pretty sure they're big everywhere because they're just so good. Like, how can you not like a sausage biscuit? For real. For real. Especially with some cheese. Come on. But yeah, in Texas, they're huge. In Texas, sausage biscuits with cheese and jalapeno are really, really big. So we got our jalapeno right here that we're gonna add it to the sausage. We have all of our ingredients right here. Only 7 ingredients. No more, no less. Now, let's get to it. So I do want to let y'all know that I do not cook based on recipes. I only cook based on touch, feel, smell, your senses, which is truly the only way to cook because you're following your intuition, you know, all that good stuff. However, for those people that don't necessarily enjoy cooking or don't really have that gift of cooking, because I do think it's a gift, I believe that anyone and everyone can learn how to cook. If y'all need me to make a recipe for y'all, I'm coming through and making a recipe for y'all because I don't cook based on recipes. This is how Vaneezy's Eats is gonna go. We're gonna be creating the recipe as we go. A few key points before we move forward. We are measuring everything by grams because grams is just easier, and basically the entire world uses grams except for the United States. I'm not sure why, but we're gonna use grams. All of the cooks that work in the kitchen, making your delicious meals when you go out to eat, they're always measuring in grams just because it's easier to measure. So here we have 326 grams of white flour. I already measured that, so we're gonna write that down. And you don't have to worry, you guys. Y'all don't have to go along with me on figuring out the recipe. For y'all just get the show. For the sausage, I am using this Impossible crumbled up beef. I am using the spicy ground sausage. If you don't want to use the Impossible beef, feel free to use whatever your heart desires. Most sausages do come in this size. Sometimes they're a little bit skinnier, but they are still about the same weight. So we got that. We have 4 small garlic cloves, which is about 7 grams. Give or take, you can use 3 big cloves if you have them. These are pretty small, so that's why I'm using 4. We have a small jalapeno. The smallest one that you can find is okay. And then for onion, we have about for our ingredients, we have unbleached organic white flour, we have garlic, jalapeno, your ground sausage of your choice, we have onion, we have cheddar slices, and we have some delicious butter. Now for your kitchenware, all you will need is a bowl to mix your dough in. I'll be using my blender to pulse the butter into the flour, but if you don't have a blender that you're able to pulse in, you can use a food processor. You can also use a fork. You can use a potato smasher if you'd like. You can use a lot of different things. You just want to make sure that you are crumbling in the butter into the flour and incorporating it together, or else when you're baking it, you're gonna notice that all of the butter basically just comes out of the biscuit, and the
That's exactly what happened.
biscuit is just a ball of dough. Oh, and I almost forgot, you're going to be needing a skillet for the sausage. I'm gonna cube up some butter for the biscuits. Now this butter is about, it's still cold. I just had it out here for a few minutes. But I'm going to stick it back into the fridge so it can get nice and cold. I'm not gonna use all of it. So a little culinary secret for slicing butter or cheese is you want to make sure that your knife is a little bit wet with warm water, and the knife just slides through without making a mess. And if you're slicing cheese, it's the same process. Only thing is that you do want to run the knife through the water every time that you slice it, so you can get a nice clean slice of cheese, especially for cheeses like brie cheese that are a little bit more creamy. Now I'm gonna put this in the fridge. As I'm putting this in the fridge, I'm gonna begin cooking the delicious sausage, and I cannot wait, you guys. It's gonna smell so good. I've cut my butter about the size of a dime. You can cut them up a little bit smaller if you'd like, but I honestly love the big chunks of butter. Now when it comes to the jalapeno, I don't take out the seeds. You can if you'd like, but you know, I'm Mexican, so the more spice, the better, baby. Honestly, I'm not even exaggerating. Now I'm just gonna give these a rough chop. I know, you guys, I need a new cutting board. It's been on my list of things to buy, but this year is a no-buy year for me, so I'm only spending money on necessities for this year. The year's almost over, so once the year is completely over, I'll invest in a new cutting board. For now, I just want to see how a no-buy year goes. So far, it's flown by. I didn't even realize that it's already been a whole year. A really quick trick on peeling your garlic is all you gotta do is put it on your cutting board, put the knife, and with the bottom of your palm, you hit it. And it just opens up. And it's super easy to take up. See, just like that. Garlic does not like to be sliced or cut with a knife. Isn't that funny? Garlic actually prefers to just be crushed. And a lot of places in Italy actually do not use a knife for any of their garlic. I believe that they say that the taste of the garlic changes whenever you slice it. And, you know, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I think it's really interesting and amazing. In case you didn't know, every veggie, every fruit, every produce has a, you can call it a little personality trait, but every produce likes to be happy in its own way. For example, onions don't like to be next to potatoes, I believe. There's certain fruits, certain herbs also. If you're planting your herbs, there's certain herbs and plants and veggies that like to grow next to each other, and they grow even better when they're next to each other. Things like that. When you put certain fruits like a ripe banana and an orange, the orange will start to go bad because the ripe banana kind of, I don't really know exactly what goes on, but I think it's amazing. Now for this, I'm just gonna do a quick rough chop. Not necessarily a mince, just a quick chop, because I'm gonna chop everything up together. So the sausage, so you can get a little bite of everything. I really need a new cutting board. Another tip, you guys, is you want to use a damp towel or napkin underneath your cutting board, but I didn't do that, so let's just pretend that I have a towel underneath it and the board is not moving everywhere. I almost forgot, you guys, the buttermilk for the biscuits. I create my own buttermilk. It's so easy, you guys. All you have to do is add your choice of plant milk. I like almond milk because nut milks have a bit more of that fat that you want, because it makes the milk a little bit more creamy, you know. And then you want to add about half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of white vinegar. This does not give your biscuits a white vinegar taste at all. The taste goes away. It just curdles up the milk. So in case you didn't know, now you know. As vegans, this is how we make our buttermilk, and it legit works. It curdles up the milk. Just leave it there for a few minutes. Just let it sit there, let it curdle and do its thing. It smells so good, you guys. Also, I'm 4'11". I think I need to get a little stool to, like, you know, be a little bit higher. So, we added the veggies. Now, we're gonna add a little bit of black pepper. Regular black pepper. We're gonna add, this is the key ingredient, you guys, some fennel. About a tablespoon of fennel. You want to remember that the sausage is already pretty salty. So I'm going to cook this until the onion is a little bit translucent. I don't want to cook it all the way, because I'm going to finish cooking it in the oven. You guys, it smells so good. That's fennel. Oh my god, it smells delicious, you guys. Seriously, oh my goodness. It's partly cooked now. I'm gonna set it to the side, make the biscuits. Once the biscuits are about to be done, I'll put this in the oven as well, so everything is nice and warm. My intention was to make them into sausage patties, but my brain was not there just now. So we're gonna improvise, okay? Because that just kind of changed up the entire recipe, but not really. We're gonna finesse it, okay? We're gonna finesse. It's pouring outside, you guys. Beautiful, beautiful Sunday, I must say. We need the rain here in Texas. I'm gonna add my flour and my cold butter in the blender and pulse it for a few times. I'm not adding any salt to the flour because my butter is salted. I actually like baking with salted butter because, you know, it adds a little bit of that. I just feel like it's better in my opinion than unsalted for some reason. The vegan butter, at least. I like to put my butter cubes in the freezer for a few minutes right before throwing it in here. And as I'm throwing it in here, I want to make sure that they are apart and not clumped up together. We don't want that. We want every bite of these biscuits to have a bite of delicious butter. I don't want it to be super fine. I want there to be a few big chunks, but not too big. So it was about 7 pulses. Alright, now we're gonna bring the flour back to the bowl. I'm going to put the flour and the butter mix back in the fridge for a few minutes so it can get cold. I don't want the butter to melt. And then once it's pretty cold, I'll be adding the buttermilk.
Well, that's where she messed up.
I don't know if I'll be adding the entire buttermilk. It doesn't look like I will, but we'll see.
She sure did.
It's been a few minutes later and I just took out my sausage from the oven. I put it in the oven at 350 for about 7 to 10 minutes just for it to get a little bit brown. Not too brown. Just enough brown for taste. Fun fact, browning up your meats, your potatoes, your food in general, just browning it up will add a lot of flavor to your food. I've taken out my flour and butter. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee that I just made. Peppermint mocha, it's that time. Just gonna use my hands. Just wanna be gentle with it. I don't wanna break up the clumps of butter. Now I'm just doing this to loosen up the flour. It almost looks like almond flour and a little bit like Parmesan cheese, to be honest. Okay, now you can see that I have different, be very careful with your butter pieces, okay? For example, I'm not even gonna touch them because they fall apart, but you can see the different sizes that I have. One of them is almost like a bean size, the other one is almost like a lima bean. Now what I want to do is almost create a little well, like if you're making pasta, and add the buttermilk.
Now, this is where she went wrong.
Just little by little. We're doing this by hand. I'm only adding about 2 tablespoons at a time. And then what I want to do is grab a bit of the flour and throw it in. A bit, throw it in. It's not necessary, but this way is a bit more precise. And once you do that, continue doing that. You don't want to add too much weight down on your fingers. You don't want the butter and everything to stick to your hands too much. We are gonna roll out this dough a little bit, so
This exact moment is where she should have stopped.
you want to make sure that it's a little bit dry when rolling it out. Okay, this is starting to feel like the right consistency. You know it's the right consistency when you begin to get bigger pieces like this. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw it down. It's still pretty loose. That's okay. Because we still have a bit small right here. Now what we want to do is knead it up a little bit. I just want to make sure that everything's getting mixed up, combining. It's still very loose, so I'm gonna add a little
Don't, Vaneezy, don't.
bit more. You basically want to cover up the liquid. Then begin to knead a little bit more. Now it's starting to get a shape. It's still a little bit loose, and that's exactly how I want it. The reason why I say that's exactly how I want it is because I'm bringing it back into the bowl. Now that I know that everything is all mixed in and combined, now this is where I'll be adding
No.
the rest of the liquid. And this is where you begin to add a little bit more pressure, because we want to make sure that
This is when she realized that she messed up.
this is a dough ball by the end. You still want it to be a little bit dry though, because of butter, you know? You don't want your biscuits to be too liquid. Now, I usually roll it out and cut it up in circles. I'm gonna throw it back in the fridge because every second counts with the biscuits and butter and anything that has to do with butter and flour, croissants, anything. You wanna make sure that your butter stays cold until you throw it in the oven, or else it loses that flakiness. Always clean as you go, please. It makes your life easier. At the end, you just have a little bit to do versus everything. Now that it's all clean, we're gonna dust a little bit of flour, not too much. You don't want there to be a layer of flour on your biscuits because flour, when it bakes, it basically just dries out and it's only pretty on bread, not on biscuits. So you don't want to add too much. So the way you do it is grab about a tablespoon of it with a pinch with your fingers, the tip of your fingers, and then you leave it open like this. Leave it a little bit open. And all you do is just move your hand back and forth. You don't have to do anything with your hands. Just leave that opening and that gives you an even layer of beautiful, beautiful flour that looks like snow. In this Texas heat, I was gonna say we'll never get snow, but after the blackout, I don't say never. After that blizzard that we got, it was insane. Anyways, guys, I wish it was cold outside. It's gloomy, it feels like it's winter, you know, but it still feels like 80 something out there. It's concerning, isn't it? So what we want to do now is roll our dough. Letting it rest in the fridge for a little bit also allows everything to basically marry each other, get to know each other, you know, so we can make beautiful biscuits. Shape your dough into a rectangular or a square before you roll it, and then press it down and reshape again. You want to make sure that when you're pressing it down that it's an even layer. You don't want it to be thin on one side and super thick on the other side. I always recommend starting from the center and going out. That's basically how you make a pizza, and it works, you guys. So now that it's an even layer, at about an inch or so thick, I'm going to reshape it again. I recommend this for things like scones, maybe things like kolaches, croissants, of course croissants, things that you want to add shape to. If you're making things that are, I want to flour it up a little bit just to make sure it doesn't stick. If you're making anything circular, like cookies, biscuits, and all of that, you can definitely just roll it out in a circle, but this is my little secret for you to get out more and do less, a little bit less. I guess you're doing more, never mind. But this is my little tip for you to get a little bit more. Okay, another sip because it's delicious. It's floured up. Remember, you don't want to add too much flour, so just with your hand, grab a little bit of flour that you have from the side and roll it on your pan. Just so it won't stick. When you're rolling it out, I recommend starting at the bottom about 3/4 and then you go up. So right here it's about 3/4. Go down and then go back to where you began and roll it out. If it gets stuck, just go backwards a little bit and you can roll it out like that. Just make sure that when you're going backwards you don't press down too much because you don't want it to be super thin. And then it gets easier to just roll it out like this. Now over here y'all see how it's very thin. That's okay for now. It's okay for now. You just want to make sure that it stays like this thick and even thickness. But the reason why I say it's okay is because I'm still gonna add a little bit more shape. 3/4 at the bottom, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now I'm just gonna make sure that it's an even layer. Now here at this point you can go halfway, 3/4 up, 3/4 down, if that makes sense. I'm sorry if it doesn't. You guys, I can't believe this. I need to invest in a circular cutter, but we're gonna use this Magic Bullet top. It's the perfect size. I want my biscuits to be this big. It's about 3 inches wide. I don't want tiny biscuits, you know? We want to make some good hearty sausage biscuits. Okay, that works. This is one. We got about, I believe I can get 5 out of this little batch, 5 to 6. So we'll see how many, but 1 down, many more to go. What's cute about using this lid is that it adds these ridges, almost like if I layered the dough. But let's see how flaky these come out. I'm going to continue to do this and roll out the rest and continue the whole process that I just did until there's not any dough left. I don't want to be wasteful, so I use up every single bit. This is delicious buttery gold, okay? We're not wasting nada aquí. You guys, this is the last bit. So I have 4 biscuits here that I'm going to cook for me for today and for tomorrow, and actually we'll just make 3. And I'm going to put these in the fridge for another day. Now what I'm gonna do is grab some parchment paper. I don't have scissors, okay? So we're gonna improvise. What I'm gonna do is, this is so ugly, I'm so sorry you guys. I'm gonna just put a sheet of parchment paper in between each biscuit so it doesn't stick. No waste here, so I'm using all these little scraps. I'm debating whether I want to freeze them. I'm gonna freeze them, you guys. So I'm gonna put them in a container to freeze. Once I'm ready to bake these, all I have to do is take them out of the freezer and thaw them in the fridge for about a day to 2 days. Then you can throw them in the oven. Now I'm gonna throw them in the oven at 350 degrees.
Actually, this is where the recipe went left. Bake your biscuits at 425 degrees until golden brown.
For about, let's say 15 minutes, and then we'll check in on them. Now you guys, I'm the queen of freezing things. I finished cooking the sausage that I'm gonna use. And the rest of the sausage that I cooked for a few minutes, I threw it in another container and froze it. And it's the same thing as with this. Just take it out of the container once you're ready to eat. And you just let it thaw in the fridge for about a day, a few hours maybe. I like to take out everything about 24 hours before I need it. So for this, I would take it out of the freezer to thaw out in the fridge in the morning, the day before I need it. That way, when you wake up the next day, you guys, you have everything ready. All you need to do is literally make yourself a cup of coffee because you already got your sausage almost ready to go and your biscuits are almost ready to go as well. Correction, 375. 375. I want to mention that I baked the biscuits at a very low temperature of 350 for the first 15 minutes, when really the temperature is supposed to be at least 385. Okay, so right now the oven is at least 385, 390. So yeah, so the oven is at 385 now. Let's see if the biscuits aren't ruined. But the temperature was so low that the butter just wasn't doing its thing. The biscuits weren't rising. Nothing was happening. So I don't know, you guys. We'll see. Okay, we're doing a little bake test, okay? Because the temperature was off and it just threw the whole thing off. So the biscuits are looking a little bit more on the pale side, but that's my fault because I didn't raise the temperature. I'm sad, you guys. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work somehow. I also live in a tiny studio and the oven is a tiny oven. So I think I need to invest in a thermometer for the oven because yeah, this is not reliable. I forgot to add baking powder, but it's okay. They're still delicious and I'm still gonna enjoy them. And I hope that y'all do add baking powder, okay? Since you're watching this before you're cooking. Add a tablespoon of baking powder, okay? Please. This is gonna bother me. The oven situation. It's like the stars of this whole thing is the biscuits. It's okay. If y'all decide to do this, like I said, it's still delicious. Still delicious, still gonna eat it, it's still food art, okay? I have a sample of the biscuit right here and they are delicious. It really needed the baking soda for them to rise, but they are still delicious. So I'm breaking up the cheese into small squares because I don't want it to be too messy. And now I'm gonna add about 2 to 3 tablespoons morning. So good. I'm gonna add another slice of the cheese on top, just so we can make sure that it is all melty. I still got 3 more slices. I don't know. One of these biscuits came out so tiny, but it's okay. Alright, so we're gonna put this back in the oven and allow the cheese to melt. And here you have it, you guys. My delicious sausage cheddar biscuits. They smell delicious. If you're still watching this by now, thank you so much. It's been a video. There's always a first time for everything, right? So I'm glad this is my first cooking video. It did not go as I wanted it to go, but it's okay. It's still going. Final verdict, I give it about a 7.2 because of the biscuits. If it wasn't because of the biscuits, it would be definitely a 8.9. Now the biscuits, because I forgot to add the baking soda to it, they did not rise. Since they did not rise, they got a little bit, let's say, crispy. Okay, so yeah. My intention for these videos and these recipes is for you to find the confidence within you to be your own cook, your own pastry chef, you know, romanticize your life. We are all meant to create, even if it's a simple thing as making yourself something to eat. That is art in itself. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like. I will catch y'all on the next one. Adios! For your kitchen ingredients, oh my god, how is the kitchen utensils? Crunchy and delicious. You guys, I'm so sorry.